If you ain't built for that life, don't go for that life. I can't tell you how many women who have tried to go off and pop a pussy, and it just didn't work out for them. I can't tell you how many women have gone out there and wanted to pop their pussy. They wanted to go and create an OnlyFans. They wanted to go off and be, the next Miss Be Nasty, or the next Darling Nikki, or the next Pink Diamond, or the next Misty Stone. And people won't even pay them $20 to see their pussy. I'm sorry, but there's some people, they won't even pay them $20 to see it. They coming on my page. Could you promote my OnlyFans? Nah. You won't see me promote your OnlyFans. I don't want to see it. But Tyrone, I need more followers. I need more. Well, then you need to figure out how to promote. What is me putting out your OnlyFans that nobody knows about you? People ain't just gonna support you just because you got an OnlyFans, Negroid. The hell? I will pay money to see Miss Be Nasty before I pay to see you. But Tyrone, you're my friend. I know. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. I'm not paying to see you pop pussy. I'm sorry. I'm not. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Omnius podcast. And it's kind of unbelievable that I'm actually making episode 90, because I've had these stretches or these inconveniences of being absent from making podcasts consistently. But I guess I take my little breaks every now and then when it comes to podcasting. But for those who listen to my podcast episodes, who be sticking in and who be tuning in, people who be viewing me whenever I record my podcast episodes and stuff, y'all are very much appreciated. But today we're going to be going over a couple of matters that I've just figured out, or that I've just come to conclusions of today as I was running errands in the city. And I put a note in my phone that I wanted to make this very clear. I'm talking about off rip in my podcast episode. Well, first I want to give a special shout out to all the people who be supporting me, the people who also be listening to me in different countries. There are people in Germany that listen to me. That's unbelievable. I did not know there were people in Germany listening to little old me. Much less in people in Russia as well. I think I saw a couple of people in Russia based on the stats on Spotify, I believe. Anyways, people be listening to me around the world, so we love to see it. I even got people in different parts of Africa. I think they said Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, people in Kenya, and where else? It was another country I could not name. But anyways, we spreading worldwide. All right, we getting there. We getting on to bigger and better things. Miss Monique, the live. What's good, Miss Mo? But I did promote German riches. I sure did. But anywho, I put a note here, right? And I put a star in my podcast notes for this live stream. And I put the time of when I saw this as well. This was 11:53 a.m. And I was in the store and I was grabbing a couple of things. And as I was walking to the checkout, I see a whole group of black women with bonnets on at 11:53. Like, you might see somebody, you go out about and you see somebody look so dusty and raggedy, and you just be like, they look like they just got out of bed. That's what these women look like. They just got out of bed. And I had to make this a note in my podcast notes on my phone. And I had to make this be known. And I literally said this in my notes. My woman could never walk out the house to a public location in a bonnet. Not happening. I literally said that in my notes. I don't understand how women can go out of their house in their PJs. I'm talking about going to public locations, going to Walmart, going to Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, in their PJs, in broad daylight, with their bonnet on. I wouldn't be surprised some of them haven't even brushed their teeth yet. Like, just don't look right. It's just, I don't have any words for it. Like, I just don't know why we doing this at our grown age. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't look right. You could judge me all you want. Oh, you hating on women. We could do whatever we want with our bodies and okay, then go ahead and do that. But it doesn't make you look good as an individual to be out here walking around with goddamn bonnets on. It doesn't. I'm saying they being lazy as hell. Like, you can't even get your hair done. It don't take no more than, and most, I'm not even gonna say that. I was gonna say most of y'all ain't even got the link, but I ain't got no room to talk because I done cut my hair off. But it's growing back though. I'm growing my fro back. It's slowly coming around. But somebody in my comments said they started doing this since middle school and high school, and it's got normalized. Another person said they literally got out of the bed and being lazy. And then another person said, I prefer black women natural hair, just rock your fro, a ponytail. Starting in high school, they carried it into adulthood. It's crazy. So it's beyond me at this point. I don't know what else to tell you. I wake up and pick my afro color of the day. I mean, your fro might be bigger now, but just give me a couple of months. I'm about to get my hair braided too. It's gonna be a wrap for these Negroes. Okay. Somebody asked me about my friend Bianca. She asked me about men and do-rags. I don't really have any thoughts about men and do-rags. Because you don't really see, at least I don't really see men in do-rags like that. And the thing is like, even if we do see men in do-rags, they have so many like designer do-rags to a point where, are do-rags even considered? I know they consider something that you would wear to protect your hair when you go to sleep and stuff, but like, at this point, the way they be making do-rags and designer do-rags, like, are do-rags for men even considered the same thing as a woman walking out in a bonnet? Like, you have the woman in a bonnet out here just, I'm talking about the big bonnets. They be having the big bonnets and everything. And then you got do-rags. I just don't think people see it in the same light. That's just me personally. I don't think people see men in do-rags in the same light as women in bonnets. Women wear bonnets to go to sleep in. You see what I'm saying? Men might wear do-rags. It's just like, particularly for fashions. It's also cannot talk. To protect their hair or their locks or their braids. But I feel like the men, they get a pass because they got designer do-rags out here. They got stuff that makes it fashionable. You can't really make a bonnet fashionable in any, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't make it fashionable. I personally wouldn't walk out the house with a do-rag because that's just not me. Do it. Some people can. I think my head's a little too big for that. I think my head is a little too big to be walking out the house with a do-rag. That's just me personally. But I just had to really get that off my chest. I really had to make that known when I made my podcast notes. My woman could not walk out the house in a public location with a bonnet. It's not happening. Possibly could give a pass if you in your car and you go into a drive-through or something like that. But I can't. You're not walking out the house and going to run errands in a bonnet. That's just not. No, we can't have that. Anyways, somebody said do-rags was to make your waves crispy, and it became a fashion trend like bandanas, headbands, and scullies. That's true. If I wear my do-rag in public, I'm wearing it as a cover for my crown. Okay, we got some of the bromans in the comments to speak. But another matter, and this is something we're going to primarily talk about in this podcast episode, is being true to yourself. The reason why I want to make this a common topic, or the primary topic of this podcast, is because for me being a content creator, I have been producing content since 2016. That's a long time. That's almost a decade, if we're being honest. I've been producing content for almost a decade now. And I've been producing content since 2016. I've been through a lot of phases. The pro-black phase, the pro-conscious phase, the Hebrew phase. And now, I don't feel like I'm in a phase no more. I think I finally found my ick factor, which is finding omniism. If you don't know what omniism is, just to summarize it, omniism is basically when you have your connection with truth and you understand that truth can be expressed in many different ways. So you're able as an individual, able to respect and also learn from any and every source, because you understand that any and every source, whether it's good or bad, is expressing truth in its own way. So one example that I like to use is when you go to school and you learn all these different curriculums, you have to learn all the different curriculums in order to advance to the next level. You can't just be good. Lord, who wants to try it? Whoa, don't put out their number. And who calling me? Yo, who calling me around these hours? See, you know how the universe be trying to get you distracted. And these be booty call hours, yo. Who calling me around these hours? And it can't be for nothing good. I apologize, y'all. I apologize. Let me go ahead and text this girl, tell her I'm live. Now, if she texts me, she talking about she want to show some titties, we might have to end this short. I'm kidding. Don't take me serious. I don't know. Her titties look nice, though. My bad. She do got nice titties, though. That's irrelevant. But I'm like, dang, who calling me around? I'm saying booty call hours, yo. Who calling me around this? It can't be for nothing good. Lord, being true to yourself. Yes, the topic, we getting back on matters, all right? We must stay focused. So being true to yourself. I was just being true to myself. But like I said, I've been producing content for a little minute now. I always talking about omnism. So I look at omnism as you go to school and you gotta learn every curriculum in order to advance to the next level. And you can't just be stagnant in just learning one curriculum. You can't just be like, all the other ones don't exceed my love for science. You can love science, but you gotta at least be well developed in literature, in history, and what else? What else is it? There's math, science, history, literature. You gotta be well advanced in all the other ones too as well. Not just literature, you gotta learn your English, your other things have to take place in order for you to advance. You can't just be good at science or just be good at history or just be good at writing papers. You get the picture. So truth will always be expressed and shown in many different ways. You can't limit God to a label or to a book or to a name or to a religion. I don't care how many times you spooked out Negroes will get in my comment section and tell me that I'm going to hell, or I'm going to be waiting on Judgment Day, or you're telling me to repent. It's not going to happen. You're telling me to find God. How am I supposed to find God if I am God? If God dwells within me, why are you telling me to find him? It's ridiculous. Why you have to find God? Why is God hiding from you? Well, he said in the Bible to seek his face. But if he wants me to find him, why doesn't he make himself known? You know what I'm saying? And on another hand, why do you call God? God isn't even a name. God is representing the being, the nature of a certain entity. Excuse me. God is not a name. So when you say God, which God are you calling on? Things like that. I can't get jiggy with it, personally. And people will come on my comment section and tell me how Jesus loves you. That's wonderful. I don't know which Jesus you're talking about. White Jesus, black Jesus, purple Jesus, Asian Jesus, Hispanic Jesus. But everybody has their own Jesus. So, I don't know. If your Jesus is somehow better than the next Jesus, I want to see that. I used to hear that in the church. I don't know what type of Jesus you worship, but your Jesus ain't my Jesus. Everybody have their own Jesus. And I don't even think people even understand the depth of that. People have their own Jesuses within the church. Everybody isn't even worshiping the same Jesus. They worshiping their own perception of Jesus. Do you know how big that is? There's over 40,000, I believe there's over 40,000 denominations within Christianity. Within that, there's even more perceptions and more different versions and visualizations of Jesus. And you telling me your Jesus is better than my mama Jesus? Better than my grandma Jesus? Beyond me. You can't get me with that Jesus talk anymore. It's like I've grown out of that folk tale when I was 17, 18. You know what I'm saying? And looking back, and I'm saying this respectfully, looking back, and you grow, you get older, and you mature, you look back and you're just like, how do people in their grown age stay in this mentality or consciousness to think that a particular being or God actually exists? If you were to teach your children about Santa Claus and they over here 30 years old still putting out the milk and cookies for Santa Claus, and then when the milk and cookie is still there the next day, they over there beating themselves over the head. Oh, Santa Claus didn't want to come to my house. He didn't want to come to my house. I haven't been a very good person. That's how people do with God. because of God not showing up in their life, or things ain't going their way, or whatever the case is, they beat themselves over the head, and they thinking they're not good enough for God, and they always thinking they're not righteous enough. And it's like, He don't exist. God that you keep giving your energy and your life to does not exist. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to be so brutal. Jesus is not coming back for your black ass. It's just not going to happen. So you need to understand the God within yourself rather than the God that you've been taught to worship outside of yourself. Because if you don't get that, you're not going to be very successful in life. You've been taught to look so far up in the sky, you haven't even looked in the mirror. You so focused on looking up to see who's coming back and who's coming to save you, and you keep going on this little egg hunt. No pun intended, because it's around Easter times now. But you so focused on going on this egg hunt, they never taught you to look at the person in the mirror. They never taught you to self-reflect and look within yourself. Anyways, but that's all has to do with being true to yourself. And a lot of people don't really want to be their authentic self when creating a brand. And let me give some free game real quick when it comes to creating your own brand and stuff like that, because I've been building the Omnius Roan brand for about 4 years now, and I think I've been pretty successful. I have over 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have over 20,000 followers on Instagram, not to mention my other platforms that I have thousands of followers on and stuff like that. And people don't like me because I am true to myself. It just is what it is. People just don't like me for being me. But I tell you one thing, me being me takes a lot of burden off of me, because I don't have to put on the front for people. I don't have to fake it to make it. You know, if I'm just true to myself and I'm true to what I like, you may not like me, but you can at least respect what I stand on. You know what I'm saying? You may not like Baphomet behind me. I might be talking about Satanism and whatever the case is, whatever you might be spookified by. Whatever spooks you out about any of the topics that I speak on. You might not like seeing the ass and titties that I like to present on my page, but I'm true to myself, you know? And once you have built a brand to where you are true to yourself and you showing your most authentic side of yourself, nobody can tell you otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Part of being yourself also includes not being caught up in any type of hoopla or drama or scandals or whatever somebody tries to have it out for you about, because there'll be pastors or there'll be people like Dr. Umar, for an example, and they speak one way and they say one thing, and then they might get caught up with, I don't know, being at the strip club, or they might get caught up trying to live a certain lifestyle that they don't live up to. And when I just tell you to be true to yourself, and this whole perception of being sinful isn't even real, and you're divine by nature, and it's not even about you contributing yourself to living right, it's just you living you. That's true divinity, not for you to do what is right and to do what is not right, and whatever the case is, you do you. So once you can live your best life and live the life that you want to live, that's all there is to it. But people don't like that, because when people who have been taught in the light hear something like that, they feel like this level of order that they have in their life will tumble. And then the people on the far left who are chaotic, when they hear about you have to apply yourself to having some type of stabilization, they feel restricted. So it's really a middle ground. It's what works for you. But while it's working for you, you have to understand that you have to keep it stable. You have to keep it going for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep the process functional. Like when I be telling people about living according to your own will and living your best life, that doesn't mean you go out and play in traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like that has nothing to do with you just going berserk. Anybody who truly understands spirituality won't take advantage of spirituality to be stupid. Being spiritual does not mean living like a crazy person. Being spiritual means that you now have the advantage and the privilege to live out your true purpose. And a lot of people don't know their true purpose because a lot of people haven't really tapped into themselves. I guarantee you, if you tap into yourself, if you listen to your inner voice, you will find your answer. You will find what your true purpose is. A lot of people haven't found their purpose. Not for real. Like with Dr. Umar, Dr. Umar got caught up with a stripper. Like me being a Hebrew back in like 2019, if I was to get caught talking to some type of stripper or some type of P-star or some type of OnlyFans person, they're like, yo, you over here being a hypocrite. You over here talking about women need to be modest and everything like that. But then look at you. You see what I'm saying? But now I have a brand where I encourage women. Or I won't say I encourage women. I'll say I've created a platform to where it's a safe space for these type of women to be themselves in this area. Or if I say encourage in the form of telling women that if you want to live that type of life, live that type of life. But you also understand, if you ain't built for that life, don't go for that life. I can't tell you how many women who have tried to go off and pop their pussy, and it just didn't work out for them. I can't tell you how many women have gone out there and wanted to pop their pussy. They wanted to go and create an OnlyFans. They wanted to go off and be, the next Miss B Nasty, or the next Darling Nikki, or the next Pink Diamond, or the next Misty Stone. And people won't even pay them $20 to see their pussy. I'm sorry, but there's some people, they won't even pay them $20 to see it. They coming on my page. Could you promote my OnlyFans? Nah. You won't see me promoting your OnlyFans. I don't want to see it. But Tyrone, I need more followers. I need more. Well, then you need to figure out how to promote. What is me putting out your OnlyFans that nobody knows about you? People ain't just gonna support you just because you got an OnlyFans, Negroid. The hell? What you think this is? You need to make a brand. You need to make a platform. You need to really expand your services. Then promote. But if you ain't got a platform, ma'am, you got 300 followers, and you only get at best 20 likes. No, don't even think about making an OnlyFans. You need to build a platform first, and then promote your OnlyFans. Where are you going to get the audience from? Where are you going to get your people from? Who's going to be watching? Your uncle? Your cousins and them? What? Who is going to support you? You got to make a you got to make a platform. With some of these women, they don't be thinking. If you're going to be a hoe, be a smart hoe. God damn. Like, I didn't even think we had to really talk about this. But if you're going to be a hoe, be a smart hoe. Be a clean hoe. Be a good hoe. But be a smart one. You know what I'm saying? And on another thing, don't even be... Some women, they be a little insecure when they get into these type of fields. And it's okay for you to, sometimes you might get burnt out, or you might, go through your little things and stuff like that. Everybody goes through their own stuff, despite whatever occupation or whatever they choose to do in their own personal life. But don't be getting in your feels. I just had somebody recently get in their feels because somebody had called them a hoe. Ma'am, people gonna label you as that anyway. As soon as you have a dress above your knees, you're a hoe. As soon as you wear a whole set of makeup and eyelashes and whatever the case is, men will call you a hoe when you have a body count above 0. Men will call you a hoe when you got 300,000 followers and you just posting merely half naked pics. They're gonna call you a hoe. When you got over 200 men in your DMs trying to holler at you, it just is what it is, fam. I mean, you just might as well accept it. And I'm not telling you to accept people, using certain terms to demean you. But even the term in itself isn't even a bad term when you really understand the true meaning behind it. But we'll deal with that for another time, for another day. In conclusion, you're gonna be a hoe. You're gonna be out here living in the sex industry. Be a smart one. And learn from other women. You know what I'm saying? Learn from other women and how to really develop that platform and stuff like that. If you gotta, if you gotta pay somebody for coaching in those matters, do so. But don't just make a OnlyFans and think it's gonna pop off just because, ma'am, your pussy is not. It's not special. It's not special. I'm sorry. I will pay money to see Miss B Nasty before I paid to see you. But Tyrone, you're my friend. I know. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. I'm not paying to see you pop pussy. I'm sorry. I'm not even paying Miss B Nasty, but I'm just saying if I had to choose, I would pay Miss B Nasty. I'm sorry. At least I'm getting a show. You know what I'm saying? That woman can squirt mileage. I'm talking about I can get baptized through the screen. Ma'am, I'm sorry. You got competition. And if you ain't trying to bring the competition, delete OnlyFans. Just don't even try it. You got a lot of people out here who I'm talking about giving competition. And some of y'all ain't even got the sex appeal. If you ain't even got the sex appeal, you might as well just hang it up. You can't even make a man aroused just by looking at you. Cut it off. Just cut it. It's when I tell you males are so sheeple. They are so sheeple. It's not hard to get money out of men. Men will pay $50 just to see your feet. Just to see your feet. There is a demographic of men out there who will pay a woman $50 per picture, per video, just to see their feet, and they will get off of feet. It's not hard to try and play this game. You just got to learn how to play it. There are men out there who have made women millionaires on these platforms, and then the men want to get mad at the women. Don't get mad at the OnlyFans. Get mad at the men promoting and endorsing OnlyFans. Get mad at the men who are investing in OnlyFans. And you over here thinking about popping pussy. Damn, you should not be thinking about popping pussy. Nobody wants to see you pop pussy. I'm sorry. But Tyrone, you promote whores. And I promote high quality whores. Step your game up, miss. Damn. That's all I'm saying. Just sharpen your craft a little bit. Make a brand. Make your name known. Make something of yourself. If you ain't got it naturally like that, like other women, it just is what it is. But if you ain't trying to put in that work, stay in the cut. Nobody's gonna just automatically pay $20 a month just to see you shake ass. Not gonna happen. Sorry. Yes, high quality whores. That's all we promote over here. High quality. 4.5 stars and up. But this all has to do with being true to yourself. Getting back on the topic. You can never go wrong with being true to yourself. That's why you ain't never gonna see me get caught up. Nigga Tyrone, he over here talking about the let's say if I was talking about women need to be modest, but then you out here seeing me whoring, or a woman go out here talking about he got me in his rotation. You're not gonna see something like that. A woman can't go out and be like, oh, Tyrone is playing with my heart. Damn, do you see his page? And I wouldn't play with a woman's heart. But I'm just saying, it wouldn't make sense for a woman to go out and try and blemish my name talking about he deals with promiscuous women, and yet I have a promiscuous page, or a page that promotes promiscuity. And I've had people even come on my page, oh, you're being toxic to the black community, and I don't like that you're promoting this type of lifestyle to black people. I'm not promoting nothing to black people. Black people follow me, and I'm just promoting my brand. I never promoted this or endorsed this to black people. Be like, hey, pop your pussy. That's not what I do. I promote a certain brand and I promote a certain message. And there are black people, black women who adhere to it. It just is what it is. So you can't get mad at me because women like to come on this platform and they feel like this is a safe territory for them to be themselves. Because they can't be themselves around you, Negro. There's some women who are, I'm talking about just maliciously slutty. There are women out here who are just maliciously sexual and lustful, and they want to be that type of way around certain type of men. But they can't be it around you because here you go on social media talking about 304s. Here you go on social media talking about a woman's body count and what she brings to the table. Ain't no woman want to be around you. Ain't no real woman wants to be around you for all of that. You could take that up with the church. Go find you one of them them chaste, righteous women, them snobby, uptight women, and then what happens? You done caught hell. If you're gonna catch hell anywhere, you're gonna catch it in the church. The women who have this issue with being righteous and being themselves. Ma'am, if you're gonna be a sinner, be a sinner. Don't be over here tiptoeing, you know what I'm saying, tiptoeing through the tulips. Don't be trying to make there is no middle ground. Either you a sinner or you're not. Alright? Be a proud sinner. Be a proud, slutty, heavenly sinner. There's nothing wrong with it. The church have taught you that there's something wrong with being a sinner. There's nothing wrong with it. They've just taught you that there is something wrong with it. The church has taught you to minimize and demonize your own sexual nature because that's where your power lies. That's where sexuality is actually one of the easiest ways to invoke your God energy. That doesn't mean you just give it to anybody and everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, you have the ability and you have the privilege to express it in any way, shape, or manner. Right, sexuality is divine by nature. Everybody loves sexual energy but hates the providers. Ain't that something? You gotta put that on the shirt. Everybody loves the sexual energy but they hate the providers. And that's the hypocrisy that I just laugh at when it comes to some of us fellas. Is we love the whores. We just don't want to be caught, seen with them. Especially at these type of hours. In the midnight hour, we gonna love to be around them. We gonna love to be caught up in a flame with them in bed. Then the next day we won't even pay no mind to them. If you know about Dr. Yosef Ben, I heard in a lecture he was like, if I have the courage to sleep with you, I also have the courage to walk with you as well in public. You know what I'm saying? Like, some men, they'll sleep with women and then the next day they might see them out and about, won't even pay them no mind. Having all these sneaky links and shit. Over here getting caught up. Being your authentic self. If you have the nerve to sleep with her, you have also the nerve to go out and eat with her as well. It's crazy. I've been on dates with women where like, you really saw her attire, you would be thinking like, where are her clothes at? But I stick true to my message. I don't even have to really personally be like, well, you could have got a dress a little longer, but I stick true to it. I'm gonna have to stick with it. I'm gonna stand by it. That's my best Denzel impersonation. I guarantee it. I stand by it. That's all it's gonna be. Anyways, but that's really what it all boils down to. And the reason why you even have some fellas who have conflictions within themselves when it comes to these matters is because they ain't true to themselves. They will speak all this. You can name them. I'm not even gonna name them. You can name conscious Negroes out here or self-righteous Negroes out here who talk about how they don't love the whores, they don't love the 304s, they don't love these slutty women, but they be in their DMs. They will be in the comment section. I see these Negroids in the comments in 4K. I had somebody a couple of weeks ago come on my page. Your page is a cancer to the black community. Then here comes this woman with a big afro. It's always the women, they feel like they can get a pass because the woman's natural and she got a certain type of attire. This woman have a big afro and I don't know, like red, black, and green. You know what I'm saying? And she got like laced attire. She over here shaking ass and he over here in the comment section with the prayer emoji. Oh fam, just be true to it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta butter it up and try and put it in a certain way where you feel like, oh, it's okay, she a conscious sister. Negro. You feel like you can get a pass with it because she got an afro and she repping the colors. Oh, y'all Negroes make me sick. But even on my hand, right? Getting back to the whole hypocrisy thing, there's been times where I've said one thing one year and then the next year I'm completely different. And people, they might could call me out on, for an example, I used to strongly dislike Shakari. I think I said her name right, Shakari, the woman who runs. And I made a video about her, and I made a post about her back in 2021. I did not like her one bit. And then she comes back around, I believe it was in 2022 or going into 2023. And she comes back around with her braids. She done matured and everything like that. She's over here winning races and she's done really matured in her stature. And I was like, you know what? I know I said what I said about her a couple of years ago, but you know what? I like her now, and I see her growth, and I'm gonna stick by it. There were men in the comments judging me. There we go, Shakari Richardson. Thank you. But there were men coming in my comment section talking about, oh, you always switching up. Oh, I knew you was gonna try and support this. I just knew it. And whenever you run into people like this, you just know they have no chance of developing as a person. You just know they have no chance of individually growing as a person. Whenever people try to accuse you of always switching up, you're always changing your mind, they want to try and project onto you that because you grow and you develop and you learn, that's a way of you saying that you're indecisive or that you don't really know what you think you know. If I think one way one day and I think something different the next day, that doesn't mean I'm indecisive. That means I might have knowledge of what I didn't know yesterday. That's called growing. Muhammad Ali, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said. Muhammad Ali said, if I'm the same person that I am in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, I haven't grown. At this point, I'm a nobody. Who I am today, me right now at 25 years old, if I'm the same person that I am today as I'm going to be when I'm 40, that shit is ass. It's ass. Why would I be the same person posting what I'm posting? At that point, when I'm 40, I should have a wife, kids. You know what I'm saying? My priorities are going to be different. My brand is going to show different. It's not going to be the same thing. You know? I can't tell you what I would be promoting in particular, but I'm enjoying the phase and who I am and what I am right now. Because who I am this year definitely may not be the person that I am next year. But that's all the importance of growth. So don't let people get you down or try and put you down because whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? For an example, I'll give you another example. I used to talk about Lizzo like dirt. I used to talk about Lizzo trash. And for those who have seen those YouTube videos, I don't have them up right now or anymore. But I used to not like Lizzo for nothing. And valid though, because the woman really went to a Lakers game with her whole cheeks out for Kishi to such a point like Kobe left the game early. After I saw Kobe leaving, you disrespected the GOAT? Oh no, I had a vendetta against her. But things change. I really don't have no feels or nothing against Lizzo anymore. It just is what it is. And you have a love-hate relationship with Megan. It just is what it is. I'm sorry. When I see her ass, everything fades away. I can... and hear me. You'll understand this. Megan, as a person, might be trash. I don't know. I never met Megan. But when I see her shake ass, everything else no longer matters. It just doesn't matter to me anymore. We can work through what I have with whatever issues I have with Megan. I can work through it. When I see her shaking ass, I'm sorry. When I see her shaking ass, everything else doesn't matter. I can work through it. It doesn't matter what she does. I'm obviously joking, y'all. Don't take it serious. Or somebody gonna take this and be like, see, there you go with his simp self. All woman has to do is just pleasure him and shake hands, and that's only. Calm down, settle down. I ain't that down bad, god dang it. There's a guy that's at work. Listen, Megan, on the real though, Megan be working wonders. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm gonna say. She be getting me a little distracted sometimes. Anyways, that got me off track just now. But anyways, wow, that really did get me off track. You see what her ass does to be like just faded out. That Kali energy. If you can be held accountable for those previous current stances, respect that. Exactamundo, madam. Exactamundo. Side note though, I know like whenever I talked about Lizzo, there was some women or some men as well thinking that I was trying to downplay BBW women. I said, man, I would never downplay BBW women. I don't know where you got that from. I know I have a certain image in terms of who I promote on my page. You know what I'm saying? But that's just because that's what's shown on my page. That's what comes to me. But I ain't got no issues with BBW women. I have a good handful of BBW women in my circle. The best woman who ever gave me the sloppy toppy, was a BBW woman. Fix my camera, because I'm speaking my truth. First woman who really took my soul was a BBW woman. I don't know what else to tell you. It just is what it is. And I would never have an issue with the women on the thicker side of life. So it just is what it is. Would never have an issue with them. But moving on, right? This has to do with being open to people's growth, right? And this is another topic that I wanted to speak on as well, is really getting into being open to people's growth, because not everybody has it together. I'm 25. I just turned 25 on February 12th. And we have to understand that who people are at a certain age, maybe may not be who they will become or who they are at 25 or 28. And just to give you a little story behind this, is like, there's been people that I have come across throughout my life from when I was 18 to now, to where we may have been good friends at 18 and we fell out at 20, 21, and then they come back around at 23 and they have come to me individually and tell me like, who was before at 18 or 20 isn't the person that I am now, and they may have apologized, or they may have either their whole life story about why I was the way I was, and if you could forgive me, or if we could restart our friendship. And I've taught myself to have empathy, really connect with other people and give people second chances. Why? Because I know what it's like to mess up. I know what it's like to be a person that you never wanted to be in the first place. And if I authentically see, you know what I'm saying? Or if I see you being authentic and being true to yourself, and I actually see the change, I have no issue bringing you back into my circle. Just don't, if you do it twice, nigga, that's your ass. Yeah, you here. But I think I've taught myself to really look past people's faults. You know what I'm saying? Despite whatever it is. There's another woman that I know where she always tended to make things that were smaller bigger. Whenever she would get in her feels about something, she would just immediately like give silent treatment, or she wouldn't talk to you, or she would try and ghost you, or whatever the case is. And I was done with that. I'm like, not going to keep trying to go back and forth with you, and you want me to apologize for something that ain't even worth apologizing for. Like, you just want me to apologize to validate your ego. So we stopped talking. 2 years later, she come back around. She wanted to apologize and give me this whole, you know what I'm saying? And some men, they be like, nah, she had her chance. She for the streets. But, you know what I'm saying? The thing about that is, she actually did develop and grow as a person. She actually told me, like, she finally became aware. Like, she had this form of enlightenment of finally being aware of the type of person that she was. Because, the person that I'm talking about individually was a person that took things literally out of context. She was somebody that was very insecure about herself. And because she was very insecure about herself, there were certain things that you couldn't say to her or about her. Certain jokes that you just could not slide with. There's a lot of stuff going on with her. Very indecisive. She didn't really know what she wanted. It was just crazy all over the place. And so it got to a point to where, because of the person that she was, or because she didn't grow as the person that she should have, we had to, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's by nature. Sometimes it's just by default that we don't need to communicate. That person individually has to go on their own journey to grow and develop as a person, and you just gotta stay in your lane. If they come back in your lane, that's cool. If they don't, oh well. Some people, you just can't be their shoulder to cry on. You can't be the person to try and make aware to them what's wrong with them. They have to find out on their own. You can't save everybody, and you definitely can't save the people that you call friend. I had to learn that the hard way. I really did have to learn that the hard way. So it just is what it is. So when it comes to people, maturing as a person, and when it comes to really accepting a person of who they are in terms of their mistakes and their mentality and stuff like that, I can accept it. Like, I can accept if we used to be good friends, and I'm not saying that, and I want to also make this disclaimer as well. I'm not saying that I haven't also made mistakes in relationships as well. I'm not saying that I haven't lost friends. I have lost good friends because of my slip-ups. But it's because of those slip-ups that I have learned how to prioritize and to cherish the people in my life, and to communicate my issues the way that they need to. If I didn't go through the breakups and the slip-ups with people that I loved at those particular times, I would have never learned to cherish and be able to communicate the way that I am now with the friends that I do have and the people in my circle. And so because I am, and I don't even mean to sound arrogant, but because I'm so sharp-minded, and because I'm so, strong-willed at communication is key for me. And for anybody who's in my circle knows this. Communication is a guarantee for me. Like, we have to have good communication. There's a girl that I personally know, and like, there's some people, you'll talk to every now and then, and it's okay. If we have that mutual agreement that we don't talk every day, that's cool. If we're somebody that talks every day and then you just go ghost for 4 days, I'm wondering where the hell you at. That just is what it is. So there are some people, when it comes to those type of things, and if we don't talk for a whole week, and I'm like, where you at? And you respond very negatively to that, I'm just like, okay, yeah, now I have to really figure things out with you, because you go from one thing to another and you can't even communicate that. And some women out here are very bad communicators. Women can be poor communicators. Some women out here have very poor communication skills. And what do I mean by that? Fellas, and you can back me up on this, but there are women out here who have shut down. I'm talking about completely shut down as a person because of A, B, C, or D. There are some women out here who, as soon as you get into an argument with them, or as soon as they don't like something that you did or said about them, they immediately shut down as an individual and won't even communicate or process their feelings about whatever they refuse to communicate about. There are some women out here who will shut down and they will disagree and hate about whatever you said to such a point. They won't even process their communications with you, much less process their communications. I said communications. They won't even process their problems with you, much less process how they feel with themselves. And so they'll shut down and they'll isolate themselves. And they think to isolate themselves from the situation, to isolate themselves from the individual, from the person, is how to solve their issues. No, that's the worst way to solve your issues. You don't run away and isolate yourself and shut down from a person that you have an issue with when they're trying to resolve the problem with you. I understand some people might be a little, hot-headed, so they just need some space to just really cool down. That's cool. That's fine. I'm not talking about that. But there are women who will go days without talking to a man because of an issue that they have with them. That's so childish. Will go days. You will go 2 to 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, maybe even a week without talking to a person that you could have really resolved that issue with them within an hour. Your ego was so big, you wanted them to call you first. You didn't want to call them. Your ego was so big, you didn't want to say I'm sorry. They had to say I'm sorry. Your ego was so big, you couldn't hold yourself accountable. They had to hold themselves accountable. It was always one-sided. There's some women out here who are just very one-sided when it comes to issues. They don't even know how to communicate. They will play victim so bad to a point to where they'll make the man feel bad about whatever it is, and then they'll apologize, and the man most likely never even had to apologize. And please don't fall for that hoopla. Don't fall for the okie doke of a woman if she did something wrong and then she want to play victim and be like, well, you made me act this way. You didn't have to say it like that. Or I take the tone bad when you text it. You have to call. They will use any and every excuse not to hold themselves accountable to how they react. If a woman can read an email from her boss and take it how it's said, there's no reason for you to text her something and then she takes it wrong and she flips it around and then gets her own message out of it. And then because he might react bad or because she says something bad or whatever the case is, her excuse is, I don't even like to, I prefer to be on the phone. I prefer to talk things out. It's an excuse. Don't fall for the okie doke. And I understand things might be better than other things. I understand it's better to talk things out rather than to text. But there are some women who will find the loopholes. They will find anything and everything just to not hold themselves accountable. There are some women who will just cut things off and just burn bridges easily. Just to be completely cutthroat because they don't want to deal with their own emotions. Because they don't even want to deal with their own situations or problems. Some women who will just end off a relationship. You know what? We're through. We're done. Just so dismissive. They don't even have no type of care in the world for their own emotions, much less for the man. You good with this person one day, and then the next day you acting different? Oh, you tripping. You over here booed up with him, eating food and everything like that. The next day, you can't even determine whether or not you're cool. And it's even worse when you have women who somehow have created some type of vendetta against a certain man, and will have this man going months trying to prove his love. When just for him to be in your presence, just for him to be your emotional support, just for him to understand you and want to talk to you and communicate with you should be good enough. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be able to show his love for you as time go on, but just for him to be there for you and say he's going to stick it down for you and be a foundation and emotional support for you should be enough. But no, that's not good enough for certain women. Some women have to go out of their way to make a man really go out of his way to buy stuff for her, to do all these other different type of things for her, to say, tell me you love me and tell me this and tell me that. As a woman, just being there for you should be enough. The only reason why if you can't accept a person for who they are, despite their faults, is because sometimes you might be going through what you're going through personally and you can't accept your faults. You can't accept when you slip up. Some people, they will put themselves, like I said, they'll put themselves in a deep hole because they can't forgive themselves for whatever it is. And that might go on for weeks, months, years of just beating themselves over the head over something so minor that they could just easily forgive themselves over. But some people, they can't accept that. And some people, they suppress their emotions. You got to watch out for people who suppress their emotions, who suppress their trauma and wear it like it's fashionable to be traumatic. It's fashionable to be toxic. It's fashionable to be stressful to deal with in a relationship, in a friendship. Some people wear it like it's fashionable. You'll see it in the memes and people will laugh about it and you laugh about it and stuff like that. But people really are toxic to a point to where they, you know what I'm saying? They feel like it's normal to be toxic. We have normalized toxicity. We have normalized being toxic, having relationship issues, baby mama drama. I don't understand it. I don't understand how we have normalized being deconstructive. Not deconstructive, but dysfunctional. I don't know how we have normalized to be dysfunctional. And we somehow think it's normal. It don't make sense to me. Wear a badge of honor. It add up. I don't understand it. And so I'm telling you, there's people that I know, people that I have grown up with, people that I have been in relationships with, people that I've talked to, whatever the case is, and they have this mentality. And it's unfortunate because some of those people would never, and it's sad to think about, but you have to accept that some people just never will find themselves, will never find why is it they can't keep a relationship. Some people will end off good relationships with a person and then will look back and wonder, why is it that I can never keep a relationship? Why is it that I had good men in my life and they're no longer here? Some people are so self-sabotaging, they push off good men. They push off good people, even with men. Some men push off good women because essentially if you really do your soul searching, you don't feel like you're deserving of it. So you will say and you will act out in the most childish of ways to really prevent you from achieving true happiness. Because your mind is so unfamiliar. Your brain and your mind and the way it functions is so unfamiliar with true love and true compassion and true grace and somebody actually treating you right that it doesn't even feel right to you. So your body will act out. Your mind be like, why this woman acting so nice to you? Why this woman always trying to understand you? So you just act like an asshole. You just act out of pocket just because it's unfamiliar. Women do it the same way. This man got a good job. He got his head right. He dressed nice and he got all this going for himself. Now something got to be wrong. Something, he must got hoes or something. He must got a secret lifestyle. Just can't fathom to accept the fact that they have come across a very good person. And because their body is so functional, their paradigm is so familiar with toxicity, with negativity, that they can't even accept their blessing that's right in front of them. They self-sabotage every time. And we'll continue to spread out on social media about how men are this and men are trash, and you same for the men, saying like women are trash and this is modern day women. It's modern day women for you. It's just the modern women of the modern time, modernly. I'm just like, fam, y'all need to heal. No, I can't stand these men. We can do bad all by ourselves without the men. Well, men, we created civilization. We don't really need y'all women. We just want y'all here. Y'all need to heal. Fast. ASAP. Quickly. Damn. And yes, black people need to heal. All these traumatic responses towards one another on social media has to stop. It has to end. Something has to give. And if you're ever in a relationship or even off rip, right? And I have to keep making these disclaimers. I'm not telling you to tolerate bullshit behavior from people. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm just saying to be very aware of these type of things, especially like you get to know a person, like up front, when you really get to know a person and then all of a sudden you immediately see it, you might want to check out. But if you get to know a person through in and throughout, and a year, 2 years pass, and you might still see those little cons, but you see the pros outdo the cons, you might could stick it through with that person. It might be that little thing about them that really irks you, but you'd rather walk with a thorn in your side than to walk normal. You know what I'm saying? It's like that pain, that stress, even if it's a little stress, you can still pull through with it. Somebody asked, what are the steps to healing? That's a very good question. Well, the number one step to healing is that first you have to accept the pain. You have to really sit there and process what is it that you're hurting from. Or what is it that is hurting you? Or what is it that's causing your life not to go the way that it's supposed to go? And so you have to really hold accountability. I think that's the number one step to healing is accountability. You have to really hold yourself responsible for the way that your life is going. You can't point the finger at, well, I would have been where I am today, but I had this one girl in my life. I could have been where I am today, but you see, my parents, they were this way, and my father didn't love me, and my mama, she will always say that I was no good. They no longer hold weight. We are at our grown age now to where we are now responsible for whatever issues or problems that were passed down. It's up to us now to do the work. They didn't do the work. Grandma and grandpa didn't do the work. Great-grandma and great-granddad didn't do the work. Now you have to put in the work. That's the number one step to healing, is that you have to take accountability. Once you take accountability and you hold yourself responsible for where you are and who you are, now you have to give yourself grace. The second is grace. First one is accountability. The second one is grace. You have to give yourself space and grace for all the things that have happened to you. And once you give yourself the space and the grace to understand that I didn't know what I knew at this time, but I know now. I may have grew up on the bad side of town, but look where I am now. You know what I'm saying? You have to give yourself grace and space. You have to give yourself the space and the grace to understand that you may not be where you want to be, but you are where you are now. And that gets to number 3, forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. You have to really forgive how you have treated other people, how you have treated yourself. You have to forgive yourself on all the bad things you have said about yourself, all the promises that you couldn't keep to other people or to yourself. And once you get to that understanding, I feel like those are the first 4 steps that could really lead you into the way of really processing through healing and healing yourself and really developing as an individual. If you can't get through the first step, which is accountability, all the other ones don't matter. Because once you hold yourself accountable, and once you give yourself the grace and the space, you should have no issue, giving yourself. And I feel like I won't say the last step, but the next to last step would be to show love. Show love to yourself and show love to other people. But definitely to yourself. Show love to yourself in terms of self-care. Having a self-care routine and meditating or working out, whatever the case is, those are great steps to healing. Reading and developing and learning, those are ways of love. Those are ways of developing your intellect so that you won't fall for the hoopla. You won't lead yourself into a bad way. or put yourself in a dark corner. So those are my personal steps to healing. Somebody said after he cheats multiple times, but now is trying. I don't specialize in couples therapy, but I don't know. It kind of varies. That's a whole topic in itself. You know what I'm saying? How many times he cheated, why he cheated, what provoked him to cheat, the relationship. There's just a lot of stuff going on there. That's a can of worms that we probably just have to open up for another time. But I hope we're going to end off the conversation here, because I know this podcast is well over an hour, probably reaching to an hour and a half. But I just want to give a special shout out to all the people in my podcast who really stuck it through listening to me. And shout out to everybody who listening to me on my Spotify. I'm not going to trip it up this time. On my Spotify and on Apple Podcasts as well. Y'all very much appreciate it. If you feel like this message was I'm talking about hit the core for you, you can let me know in my DMs. You can let me know in the comments as well for Spotify, because I do have a Q&A for you to answer there. Make sure you like this. There's a way that you can like this on Spotify. If you haven't followed me on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, make sure that you do follow me and turn on your notifications so you get the next podcast episode as well. All right. Very much appreciate it. I do have this on YouTube as well, so if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to me, and share this podcast with a few of your peeps. All right, especially if they need to hear it. All right, till next time. All right, in the grace and space section of the podcast, okay. But sometimes you have to give yourself the grace and the space to understand, yeah, at one point you was a trashy dude. You was a trashy person. You didn't treat people the best way that you could have. But it's because of those things that have happened to you in the past. It's because of you mistreating people that now you know how to treat people. Of your past where you didn't really live up to the best of your abilities, now you know what you need to do and live up to your best potential and utilize your greatest potential.